I'm Scarlett. I'm 25. And during my very first corporate job, I was sexually harassed by my boss. I wasn't the first woman this happened to, but I made damn sure I was the last. I exposed him. Publicly. Brutally. And in doing so, I blew open an HR scandal that nearly took down the entire firm. That's not how I thought my career would begin. But that's exactly how it did. And if you're wondering how I went from a wide-eyed new hire to the woman who ruined a predator's career on live Zoom, let me take you back to the day it all began. 6 months earlier, New York City, downtown, 9:12 a.m. The lobby smelled like fresh polish and ambition. Tall glass walls. Mahogany finishes. Cold smiles behind designer suits. I stood there clutching my portfolio like it was a bulletproof vest. My palms were damp. My heart was doing backflips. It was my first day at Kessler & Lane, a corporate consulting firm with a reputation as shiny as its elevators. "You must be Scarlett," the receptionist said with a smile too perfect to be real. "Mr. Harmon will see you now." Mr. Harmon. My new boss. The man I'd Googled more than I'd like to admit. Mid-40s. Ivy League. Brilliant track record. And as I'd soon learn, completely rotten underneath the polish. The elevator doors opened with a soft ding that somehow felt louder than it should. I adjusted the hem of my blazer and stepped out. My heels clicked against the marble like a countdown to something I couldn't name. There he was, Mr. Harmon. Standing beside the floor-to-ceiling window, a steaming cup of espresso in one hand, his other casually tucked into his tailored slacks. He turned, smiled, and extended his hand. "Scarlett Fisher," he said with a crisp, rehearsed tone. "I've heard good things." He didn't wait for me to reply. His eyes scanned me, not my resume, not my handshake, but me. My face, my blouse, the way my necklace rested just above my collarbone. It was subtle but not invisible. "Let's get you settled in," he said, ushering me into his office. "We value initiative here. I assume you're ready to hit the ground running." "I am," I replied. "More than ready." "Good. You'll be working closely with me, assisting on executive accounts, confidential projects. You're not just an intern here, Scarlett. You're in the room where things happen." That should have excited me. It did for about 3 minutes. Until he closed the door behind us. That soft sound would come to haunt me. My desk was positioned directly outside his office. Prime location, he'd said. Quick access, he'd winked. I tried to focus on the onboarding documents. Pages filled with client portfolios, internal jargon, and company protocols. But I felt his presence behind the glass every time he passed. At one point he came out with a folder, leaned over my shoulder too close and whispered, "This file doesn't leave your sight. It's sensitive." Then quieter, "Just like you. I can tell you're detail-oriented. That's rare." I froze. Smiled awkwardly. Said thank you. But my stomach had already turned. Slack message from L.Hamilton. L.Hamilton. "Hey, heads up, he's charming but careful. L.Hamilton. Don't stay late alone." Seriously. I didn't know who L.Hamilton was yet. But I would soon. She wasn't the first to warn me. And wouldn't be the last. The lights were dimmed, motion sensors kicking in. I was finishing an urgent task when I heard his voice behind me again. "You work hard. I like that." I turned. He was in the doorway of his office, sleeves rolled up, tie loosened. He nodded toward the inside. "Come in. Let's talk about your future here." I hesitated. Every warning bell in my head went off. But I stepped inside. And I left the door open. Dim light spilled in from the hallway. The glass walls reflected our silhouettes like ghost versions of ourselves. One sitting, one standing, both pretending this was normal. He gestured toward the leather chair across from his desk. I sat. "So," he began, pouring himself a splash of bourbon from the crystal decanter on the corner table. "Let's talk about your role here. You've made quite the impression on day one." He slid a glass toward me. "I don't drink at work," I said, trying to keep my voice even. "Good," he smiled. "That means you think long-term." "I like that." He circled the desk and leaned on the edge far too close. His voice lowered. "You know, Scarlett, this company eats girls like you alive. Ambitious. Idealistic. Soft around the edges." I blinked. "I'm not soft." His smile didn't reach his eyes. "No," he said. "You're sharp. That's why I wanted you here." Then it happened. He reached out, slow, deliberate, and tucked a loose strand of hair behind my ear. His fingers graced my cheek. His thumb lingered on my jawline for half a second too long. I froze. My spine straightened. My chest burned. "Sir," I started, but he interrupted. "You don't have to be so formal. Call me Matt." I stood. Too fast. My chair scraped the floor. "I think we're done here." He smirked. "Don't overthink it, Scarlett. It was just a gesture. You're reading into things." That line. The one they all use. Just a gesture. Just a compliment. Just a misunderstanding. Just me. I didn't respond. I walked out. But something inside me cracked open that night. A silent vow forming between the thudding of my heart and the echo of that door clicking shut behind me. This ends with him being exposed. Publicly. Irreversibly. He touched me like he owned me. He smiled like I was a thing. But I'm not a thing. And I won't be silent. If he's done this to me, I bet he's done it to others. Tomorrow I start asking questions. The energy was different. Or maybe I was. The same receptionist greeted me. Same polished smiles in the elevator. Same fresh espresso smell lingering in the hallway. But now I noticed things. The way a junior associate stiffened when Harmon walked past. How a woman in legal avoided his eye contact. How a post-it note near the water cooler read, "If you see something, say something." And someone had crossed out the word "say" and written, "survive." Slack message Hill. Hamilton Scarlett, hi. We haven't met officially, but I wanted to ask, L. Hamilton. Stop. L. Hamilton, not here. Not on Slack. L. Hamilton, meet me outside. Parking level 3. Lunch. She stood by the exit ramp, arms crossed, nervously checking her phone. Laura Hamilton. Mid-30s. Quiet confidence. When she saw me, she didn't smile. "You're not the first," she said before I could speak. My breath caught in my throat. "What did he do to you?" She looked away. "Doesn't matter now. Legal settled it. I signed an NDA. "Why are you talking to me then?" "Because I hate him," she said. "And you still have a voice." It started the same way. Late nights. Compliments. A touch here and there. Then a business trip to Chicago. Then a locked hotel room door. "Scarlett, did you report it?" "Laura, to HR?" They handed me a document so fast it was like they'd done it before. Mutual misunderstanding. They paid me off. I used the money to get out. But I never got closure. She looked at me, eyes tired. "Whatever you're planning. Be careful. He protects himself. He protects himself. So I need to protect the truth." I opened a blank Google document, titled it, Project Exposure. Matthew Harmon, I began writing. Every detail. Every timestamp. Every uncomfortable comment. Every touch. Because if they were going to gaslight me, I'd bring the fire first. I sat through the weekly strategy meeting like I was underwater. Everyone nodded, clicked pens, scrolled through decks. And across the room, Harmon laughed, hand on a male VP's shoulder, playing mentor. No one looked at him the way I did. Like they knew what he really was. I kept replaying Laura's words. He protects himself. I knew what that meant now. HR wasn't incompetent. They were complicit. Scarlett's laptop. Project Exposure Document Notes. NDA equals Non-Disclosure Agreement. Check with employment lawyer friend. Internal complaints? Disappear. Search ex-employees on LinkedIn filter. Marketing operations HR past 5 years. Contact. Personal emails only. Be discreet. I emailed 10 women. All of them had left the company quietly, all in roles near Harmon. Subject line, "You don't know me, but I believe we have something in common." Body. If you've signed an NDA, you don't need to say a word. Just reply with a "if nothing happened," reply with "if you want him stopped," say, "I'm in." I sent it and closed my laptop. My hands were shaking. I'm in. He ruined my life. I still have screenshots. By 9 a.m. I had 5 responses. By noon I had 12. And by 4 p.m., I had my first call scheduled with a woman named Dana, Harmon's former assistant from 2018. She wore dark glasses and carried an old worn tote bag. She didn't touch her coffee. "I'm not afraid of him," she said. "Not anymore. But that NDA's a cage. I can't say anything." Unless someone forces discovery. A court. A subpoena. Scarlett, so I just wait for someone to get sued. Dana shook her head. You make it happen. She leaned in, voice sharp. If you want to burn him down, don't wait for permission. Trap him. On record. On tape. And make sure the world hears it before the lawyers do. They built a fortress of silence around him. But they forgot even steel melts under pressure. I opened a new tab. Searched. NYC recording consent laws. One-party consent. Legal. Perfect. I wore a fitted navy dress, professional but calculated. Subtle makeup, no lipstick. My hair pinned back like I had something to prove. Because I did. Inside my purse was a slim black voice recorder, legal in the state of New York. It blinked twice. Recording. The plan was simple. He flirts, I don't pull away. He suggests I play along. He steps over the line, I have him. He smiled as I walked in. Scarlett, he said, you've been glowing this week. Confidence looks good on you. I pretended to blush. Must be the fresh air. He gestured to the chair again. I sat. My purse and the recorder inside it placed neatly on the table between us. He didn't notice. Harmon, you know, I wasn't sure about you at first. Fresh out of school, big eyes, no clue about how power works in this city. Scarlett, and now. Harmon leaned closer. Now I think you get it. You're playing the game. Scarlett, is there a reward for that? He chuckled. Oh, there's always a reward. The real question is, are you ready to earn it? There was. Scarlett, what do you mean exactly? He stood up, closed the blinds, dimmed the lights. The recorder's light blinked again. Still recording. Harmon, we don't have to play coy. I've helped a lot of women move up around here, the ones who understood discretion. Scarlett, like Laura Hamilton? His eyes darkened. Just a flicker. You're smarter than you look, he said. Scarlett, smarter than I let on. Heart racing. Hands clammy. But face calm. I had it. On tape. Clear, manipulative, undeniable. I went straight to the restroom, locked the door and backed up the audio to my cloud. Twice. 12 women. 12 faces. Different ages, backgrounds, stories. But one goal. I played them the tape. Silence. Then. I've waited 5 years for this. This is it. He's done. We agreed on a date. A day none of us would work from home. A day we would walk into HR together. A day Kessler and Lane would never forget. Power doesn't just corrupt, it camouflages. But predators always underestimate the women they choose. That's their fatal mistake. We didn't speak. We didn't need to. 13 of us, different floors, departments, roles, walked into the building like we were clocking in. But this wasn't work. This was war. The receptionist blinked as we filed in one by one. She reached for the phone. We didn't stop her. We need to speak with Leah Marston. Immediately, I said. She's in a meeting. She's not anymore. Pause. Then the door opened. Leah, VP of Human Resources, stepped out. One look at us and she knew. We'll need a larger room, she said quietly. We sat. The air was thick. Some women crossed their arms. Others trembled. But no one left. I pressed play. The recording echoed in the room, Harmon's voice, smooth and venomous, spilling out line by line. We don't have to play coy. The ones who understood discretion. I've helped a lot of women move up. When it ended, no one spoke for several seconds. Then Leah looked at me. Do you have this documented? I slid a folder across the table. With timestamps, names and contact info of all women present. Plus digital backups in 3 locations. She nodded, pale. This is explosive. No, I said. This is overdue. Somehow, and no one could prove how, the audio recording ended up in the inbox of the company's internal all-staff list. Subject line. Your promotion comes with a price. Within 30 minutes, the office buzzed like a disturbed beehive. Phones rang non-stop. PR shut down media inquiries. The legal team was called to the top floor. And Harmon, gone, vanished from his office. Security cleared out his desk by noon. The CEO stood on stage with Leah beside him. Scarlett sat in the middle row, chin high. This firm has zero tolerance for misconduct, he said, voice shaking. Mr. Harmon's contract has been terminated effective immediately. An external investigation will follow. Murmurs. Eyes darting towards Scarlett. And the others. The fear, the one they'd worn for years, shifted. Now it was his legacy that trembled. I didn't want fame. I didn't want revenge, not really. I wanted truth. And in seeking it, I found an army. I grabbed my phone, still half asleep. You're trending. Turn on the news. Girl. Holy. SHT. I opened Twitter. Hashtag expose Harmon, hashtag she said everything, hashtag corporate predator, top 3 US trends. Hundreds of reposts. Clips. Transcripts. Screenshots. Someone, not me, had uploaded the audio and paired it with testimonials from women who couldn't speak before. A TikTok voiceover played my conversation with Harmon, captioned, "This is what real harassment sounds like." If she didn't record this, no one would have believed her. It had 2.3 million views by noon. In a shocking series of leaks, executive Matthew Harmon of Kessler and Lane Consulting has been terminated after recordings surfaced of him coercing female employees for career advancement. Sources confirm the company had previously settled multiple NDA-protected cases involving Harmon. The whistleblower, identified only as Scarlett, is being hailed online as a corporate hero. Scarlett's email inbox subject: "Thank you. I thought I was crazy until today. I never told anyone what he did. Now I can. You gave us all a voice." Hundreds of messages. From strangers. From women. From daughters. From mothers. From interns. From executives. From survivors. FaceTime call. Laura Hamilton. Laura was smiling for the first time since I'd met her. "You did it," she said. "You actually did it." "No," I replied. "We did. They'll say I exposed a predator. But really I exposed a system. One that rewards silence, enables power and weaponizes fear. But fear lost today. And it'll keep losing. Because when women speak up together, we don't just change offices. We change the damn world." News interview request subject: NBC Morning exclusive interview offer with Scarlett, another one. And another. Thing. CBS. 2 podcast networks. A documentary team. They wanted my story. My pain. My voice. But none of them wanted me. A panel of well-dressed commentators debated my choices like I was a topic, not a person. She should have gone through the proper channels. This was career suicide. She'll never work in consulting again. But at what cost did she win? Men are terrified to mentor women now. I turned it off. Email from Legal Department Kessler and Lane: "Dear Ms. Fisher, we acknowledge your contributions in the investigation. As your contract was originally structured as temporary, we regret to inform you." I didn't finish reading. I didn't need to. Fired. Indirectly. Politely. Predictably. We sipped cappuccinos like survivors of a battlefield. "They're going to blacklist you," Dana said gently. "They already did," I replied. Laura leaned in. "So we build our own table. New domain. New logo. The Red File, a platform for corporate whistleblowers, a database of anonymized stories. Resources. Legal guides. A place to speak without permission. Not revenge. Redemption. They think because I lost a job I lost the war. But what they don't know is I found something better than a paycheck. I found purpose. I stood at the window. No headlines. No messages. No camera crews. Just me. And the knowledge that I started a fire no one could put out. My reflection stared back like a stranger. But stronger. Wiser. Scarred. And proud. A small crowd sat before a modest podium. Nothing fancy. No red carpets. But every seat was filled. On a stand beside me, The Red File, True Accounts of Silenced Voices, a collection of anonymous testimonials. Edited by me. I looked out over the audience. Some familiar faces: Dana, Laura, even the woman who once warned me in a Slack message, "Don't stay late alone." Now she sat front row, head high. When I first stepped into that office I thought I was lucky. Young. Hired. But what I didn't realize was, I was walking into a legacy built on silence. They didn't just expect me to do my job. They expected me to play my part. Smile when touched. Laugh when cornered. Forget when crossed. But I remembered. And I recorded. And I spoke. Not because I'm brave, but because I was tired. Tired of pretending that survival is professionalism. To the women who still whisper behind closed doors, you're not crazy. You're not alone. And your voice doesn't need permission. This isn't the end of the story. It's the end of the silence. She walks alone down 6th Avenue. No headlines. No cameras. But this time she doesn't feel small. This time she's not hiding. This time her story isn't being taken from her. She's the author now. And she's just getting started. Based on stories that happen every day. Somewhere someone is still silent. Let's make them heard.